Hi, y'all. I'm Brenda with Blessings and Bread. Welcome to my kitchen. Today, I'm making a chocolate pie. Another chance to cook for church. We're having lunch at church tomorrow. We're having a special guest come and speak to us. And after the sermon in the morning, we're going to have luncheon in our fellowship hall. I always bake a dessert when we're having a church social. Just gives me another opportunity to do what I love to do so much. This recipe today is the one I've used ever since I got married because it's my mother-in-law's recipe. I loved her chocolate pie, and she was so gracious to share her recipe with me. She was a wonderful cook, and we truly miss her cooking. Today, though, I am making one little alteration in her recipe. I'm using special dark chocolate cocoa instead of regular cocoa. If you like dark chocolate and you want to make a really decadent chocolate pie, if you'll use the dark chocolate, it will make it truly delicious. All right, let's get started making this pie. I am not using a traditional pastry cream method today. I learned this when I was younger. I think my mother taught me this, I guess in the 80s when we were just all getting microwaves. But I learned to make my cream fillings in the microwave. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I'm going to start by mixing together my 2 cups of sugar. And this is, her recipe actually calls for 3 heaping tablespoons of flour. And I did that and then measured it, and it comes out to basically 5 tablespoons. So this is 5 tablespoons of flour. And it calls for 5 heaping tablespoons also of cocoa. But instead of heaping, because I'm using the dark chocolate, I just still use 5. I maybe put a little bit more than 5 in there, but about 5 tablespoons of the dark chocolate. And then I just use my whisk to mix that in really well. Cocoa tends to want to have little balls and things in it, so I kind of stir that until most of those have gone away, or they won't mix in well when we add our liquids. All right, I'm going to set this aside, and then next I'm going to mix my liquids. I'm going to start by putting my eggs in a bowl, big enough to add the milk, and I'm going to then just whisk my eggs a little bit. I'm not beating them really, I'm just mixing them up. And then I'm going to add my milk. And the milk is 1 cup of regular milk, and then 1 can of evaporated milk. I really think this is one of the secret ingredients in this recipe, is that it actually uses a can of evaporated milk and not just all whole milk like from the refrigerator. All right, that's mixed together pretty well. And so now we're going to add that to our dry ingredients. So I'm just going to slowly mix those together. All right, now it's time to cook this in the microwave. And I'm going to start, I'm going to put it on a plate because I have had this boil over on me a few times. But I think it's because I get in too big of a hurry and I don't stir it well between each time I'm microwaving. If it gets too hot and starts to boil over, you will have a big mess in your microwave. And I will be showing you between each time I cook it, I'm going to try to give you a look at what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to get started. Once your chocolate pastry cream is cooked, then and out of the microwave, then there's a few more ingredients we need to add. And one of those is 2 tablespoons of butter. So we're just going to put this butter in there and let that butter melt in there. And also I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And I only have a half a teaspoon here. But it also needs half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to do the salt first. So there's the salt. And then I'm going to have to do 2 of these because that's a half. And that makes a whole teaspoon. And then we want to just stir that into the butter is completely melted. Doesn't take long because this is really hot. And you want to get this into your pie shell. And I've already baked a pie shell this morning, and I used my old pastry recipe. I have a video for that, which means I can just make that pie crust in this pie plate. It's super easy. And that was the mood I was in today. I wasn't in the mood to roll out a pie crust. All right, that's all mixed in. I'm going to put this in the sink, and then we're going to pour this very hot pie filling into the deep dish pie plate. I like making it in this deep dish because it makes a very deep pie, but it makes nice thick slices. All right, let me set this over here. Now we're going to add the meringue. Let me get the meringue. Like I said, I've already made the meringue, and I made a video of that too, so you can check that out also. And I'll link both the pie crust and the meringue recipe at the end. But I had made it earlier, but I just went and whipped it some more to make sure it didn't fall. And I love that. It's going to be perfect. All right. Keep in mind, these are raw egg whites. And you do want to get your egg whites on to your pie while the pie is still hot, while the filling is hot. That's going to help to kind of seal that and begin to cook them, I think. And then we're going to put it in the oven also to cook them. All right, we've got lots of meringue today. I had an extra egg today. Normally I only have 4 eggs. I think I even forgot to say that earlier, that the pie uses 4 eggs, but I will post the recipe in the description. So it's kind of lopsided. I need to move some meringue to the other side. Get it all even. And you want to be sure your meringue touches your crust all the way around. That will help prevent it from shrinking as it's baking and cooling. Although I sometimes still have mine will shrink sometimes. Now I'm just going to add these little tops. I love that little curly cues on top of my pie. All right. And now we're going to put this in an oven, 350-degree oven, for about 10 to 12 minutes. But I'm going to start with 10 and keep an eye on it, and then I'll just brown it. But you want to leave it in there long enough that it gets the egg whites done. All right. I'm going to get this in the oven, and then I'll be back and show you what it looks like when it's done. Although we're not going to get to cut a piece today and do a taste test. All right, into the oven. Well, my pie's now out of the oven. It's still popping hot, but I baked it for about 11 minutes. And as you can see, this meringue is a beautiful golden brown in places. It just looks beautiful to me. It rose a little bit as it cooked because when I put it in the oven, it fit. And when I pulled it out, it knocked off some of my little curly cues on top of the pie, but it will still be delicious. I want to thank you for being with me today. I'm enjoying starting this YouTube channel, and I appreciate you coming along. If you'd like to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up. It'll be a big help to me. And I will see you the next time I'm in my kitchen, in my garden, or on my porch.